Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood Chats 2. And as you can see, I'm pleased to be joined by none other than central midfielder Ethan Coleman for the latest episode in this series. First of all, big thanks to Ethan for his time today and happy birthday for yesterday, 24.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem at all. Did you have a good day?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
good. Nice relaxed Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then back to the grind
Yeah,
this morning.
exactly that.
Obviously, we're not here to talk about what Ethan did on his birthday day off. We want to find out about Ethan, the footballer, and his career so far. And it's fair to say that for me, this is a slightly different one because I tend to interview like ex-players. So obviously, they've had lots of time in the game.
Yeah.
Plenty of clubs.
Yeah.
So this was quite a good one for me because I thought, right, it's going to test me in terms of different types of questions because you are still a youngster in terms of a football career.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that. But predominantly, we want to talk about how you're finding life at Gills. So Reading Academy was where you started off about 4 years ago as a 19, 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Wasn't there too long, I think it's fair to say.
At Reading Academy.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was there from 9.
This is Wikipedia. So you can't always rely on the internet.
Yeah. So I was there from 9 till 20. Got released at 20 years old there.
Okay, and then dropped into non-league, and you played for, I think it was Brackley Town,
National
League North.
Started there, yeah.
And then went to Kings Lynn.
Yeah, correct.
In the same division.
In conference.
So that was the National League, and then so steps up from the regional up into the National League main. Which is what you want. You want progression.
Yeah.
So my question was, because obviously Wikipedia's done me a dirty, was what was the reasoning behind dropping out of the academy so quickly? But it wasn't. It was just a case of you'd been there a few years, and Reading decided not to offer you a pro contract. I take it.
Yeah. Well, so what happened is I joined at 9.
Yeah.
And then I think at that age you'd get like sort of 2-year contracts each year. And then it gets to under 16s, and under 16s I got offered a 2-year scholar and a 2-year professional contract.
Okay.
So I got offered a 4-year deal when at 16, and then took that. And then when that ran out, that's when I got released and left.
And you decided to take the plunge and sort of go into non-league senior men's football, which I suppose is probably the best type of learning curve, isn't it?
Massively. I mean, I'm annoyed that I didn't get out earlier and go on loan in them 2 years I had as in my pro contract, because it helps massively. Every game is massive, whereas I didn't really like the under 23s football as much, whereas
I think a lot of people said the same.
Yeah,
it's football, but it serves a purpose. But you're not playing for anything in terms of points, really. And I suppose on top of that, you then go and play for Brackley or Kings Lynn, and you've got supporters there who are paying money to come and watch you. So it means something to you. It means something to them as well. And suddenly that 90 minutes has more of a point to it, I guess.
Yeah, massively, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
and that's what I liked about it. And it suited me as a player.
And to be fair, you didn't play loads of games at Brackley and then Kings Lynn. I think it was only sort of around 40 senior games, and then and Leighton Orient came in for you. So, I mean, you must have been buzzing in terms of thinking, right, I've taken my medicine. Reading have said no. You then dropped into non-league to go and learn the game, senior football, the importance of 3 points and training during the week and that type of thing. So how proud were you to think, right, after only 40 games, like, I'm back in the football league, and this must have been really good. Was you sort of ahead of schedule? Did you feel, or?
I felt like I was wanting to get back as quick as I could into the EFL, and I've managed that. It was tough. Like I said, at that time when I did get released, it was COVID times, and at that time, no team was offering even a trial at that point. It was tough to get a trial. And I went on trial at Bristol Rovers. I went on where did I go? I went to Stockport at one point as well, and then ended up just going to Brackley at that point. So that's where. And
then from there it sort of progressed, and Leighton Orient coming for in January 2022.
Yeah. That's I think. I was 21 at the time, turning 22, and. That was a big step for me. and obviously Kenny was there, brought me in when he was the manager there, and yeah, no, I enjoyed my time there. It was a massive learning experience for me.
At Orient?
At Orient, yeah.
I bet as well, yeah, because again, it's different, isn't it? And we talk now, we hear stuff on social media. I know you're not on Twitter or that type of thing, but you probably talk about it with the boys in the changing room about what's the difference in levels between regional, National League, then National League, and then the step into League Two. And I don't think there's a huge difference. I want to say certainly maybe top half National League to the bottom half of League Two. Obviously, there's the anomalies now, the Wrexhams, the Notts Counties, the Stockports, but you must have been, again, to use the same word, buzzing, because you came in that winter and it wasn't a Leighton Orient that the season after went and won the league. It was a team that was trying to stay in the division and consolidate, and you were trusted to play back end of 21-22 season. You played, I think, 15 games or so from January up to the end of that campaign. So again, you must have been thinking, right, this is good progress, and hopefully then have a good pre-season summer of 2022 and kick on and try and stay in the first team. Was that the aim?
Yeah, no, it was definitely the aim.
Who was your manager? Sorry, if you don't mind me asking.
So it was Richard Wellens.
It was Wellens still.
Yeah. So he came in after Kenny, and then he's a good gaffer. He did work really well for that. But after that, then I went on loan to Bromley, and I feel like I needed to get out of there. I wasn't enjoying my football as much as I was previously
at Orient, or
at Orient.
Right, okay.
And I wasn't enjoying it as much as I was at Kings Lynn. So I wanted to go play somewhere where I was playing, and that happened at Bromley, and then obviously luckily
started getting towards Kent. Yeah, that was almost my next question, was because we sort of mentioned back in the 21-22 you played 15 games, so you played a high proportion of that second half of the season, and then to come in back in the summer, I'd imagine it was a bit frustrating. Or how did you feel alone? Once you sat down, because you're obviously thinking, well, I've played a decent amount of games now, let's try and stay in the side, and then they've gone, oh, we're going to ship you out back down a level again. Was that a bit of a kick in the teeth, or did you just think it was part of the natural learning process?
I think, to be honest, I think it was more me wanting to get back out, because I wasn't happy. Okay. Me personally, I wasn't happy because I knew the amount of game time at Orient I was going to get that season wasn't going to be what I wanted.
That's some good midfielders to me.
No, they did. They had Hector Cipriano that year, and he went to Peterborough that summer. And then they have Jordan Brown, and they brought in that Idris El Mazouni.
I was a loan from Ipswich, I think, out of the Championship or somewhere.
So he's a very good player, and I knew I wasn't going to get as much game time as I wanted. So made the decision to.
I suppose it's similar to what you saw with Gills, isn't it? You came in the January into a side that was trying to get up the league away from danger, and then it's obviously Orient then changed their aspirations in the summer and want to kick on into the top portion. Maybe they looked at the form and thought, right, he's still fairly inexperienced. So from your point of view, it was just a case of wanting to go and play more football.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I think it was from their side as well. They wanted me to go on loan at Bromley, but I wanted to get out of there as well.
And it's fair to say you did well there. I mean, we all look at Twitter and social media when Gills announced a signing. I think you always get a better idea of how a player's perceived from the fans of the club he's leaving. So we looked, and obviously it was Bromley fans were all saying, oh yeah, he's a good player, he's done well, and then Orient were like, oh, he's not all that. And so you sort of take it with a pinch of salt. But another January 23 and another move for you. And this time it was to ME7. You've already mentioned Kenny Jackett, who you was aware of at Leighton Orient, so I'm assuming Kenny played a fairly big part in the transfer. And obviously Hesse as well was at Orient a few years ago. That would have been before your time, but so there were still links between the two clubs. So just how did the move come about?
I think I remember obviously that Jan, it was when Kenny and Hess came in, or December time.
They'd only come in at the start of the window.
And, I remember at that point, I think near that time, Kenny did give me a call and said, do you want to come? And I was like, of course. Getting back into the EFL, learn from my.
So at this point, you knew that there wasn't really a way into the team at Orient.
I knew.
I know because they were flying as well.
They were flying top of the league, and again, yeah, I thought this is another chance for me to get into the EFL and produce and play games, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I knew coming in at that point that Neil Harris, a good gaffer, really good gaffer, I really enjoyed working under him, and he integrated me, and I really quite.
Wasn't your signing announced the same day as Jaden Clark?
No, I think he was a
day
he might have been
very,
yeah,
very
close,
simple
very
times,
close, yeah. But I knew coming in I wouldn't be going straight into the team at first, and he had that conversation with me, and I was more than happy to come in and learn, and that's what I feel like I did, especially with the likes of you got Sean Williams, and I can learn off someone like him.
Yeah, Stuart O'Keefe as well, didn't you?
Yeah, Stuart
as well. Yeah, two very experienced players.
Yeah.
You know, top end of the game.
Yeah,
as well,
exactly. So it's helpful for me.
So it's a case of coming in and you hear, oh, we're not going to play you all the time every week.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're excited about the project, and that's what I think we
Massively,
were trying to build, because Brad and Shannon had just come in as well, you think, right, it might not be immediately that we see the rewards for taking the plunge, but it might be 6 months, a year, 18 months down the line.
Yeah, exactly that. And as I said, I mean, this season, I've enjoyed every moment of it, and like I said, played a lot of games and really happy. Yeah,
and you said you had to bide your time. I don't think you made your debut for pretty much a month after joining. I think you joined very late in the window, wasn't it?
It was.
And I think it was 28th of February you made your debut. It was out here, actually, at home to Bradford City. We were a very good Bradford City side at the time. They were in the playoffs. I remember you coming on, I think, last 20 minutes 4-0. And we were sat in the ground, and the game had been frustrating. We'd been decent. You've probably heard that about our performances. We've been decent, we missed chances, and we've conceded a soft goal, which is still a frustration right up at the moment. But I remember people in the rain room saying, "Cool, who's the new lad? He looks decent. He gets about the park, he's rangy, he's willing to put his foot in, and he can pass." But I think the game for me, certainly, that really stood out was, I think, a couple of weeks later we went to Edgeley Park.
Stockport.
Away at Stockport, and played like 15 at the back. And you started. And I thought you was man of the match by absolute miles that night. I know, and it was a game where we essentially went for a point, and I think you admitted that at the time. He was very honest and said we were going there to try and keep a clean sheet and stop them scoring. But just how important are people like Sean Williams and Stuart O'Keefe when he was here? Because Sean's 36, 37 now, Stuart's 32, played in the Premier League, they've both been in the Championship, Sean's an international. It must have been, you couldn't have had two much better people to be learning that role off of, could you?
Yeah, massively. I'm quite, I like to watch people and I like to watch what they do on and off the pitch, and obviously watching Sean on the pitch, great player, and even off the pitch, like learned a lot of things off of him in that short period of time of 6 months. And it wasn't even 6 months, like 4 months, 5 months, but and I buzz off things like that. And as a player, as a young player coming in to the EFL again, it's a massive part of it, and it's a massive experience for me to be able to learn off that, and it's really helpful. Really.
What is the difference between National League and League Two? Is there a great deal of difference? Because you've played quite a lot in both of them levels in recent times as well.
Yeah, I'd say for me personally, I think it is quicker in terms of shutting people down, getting more pressure on the ball. I think it's more athletic as well. I remember playing for Brackley, and we had a game against Tranmere away in the FA Cup, and I remember coming off that game thinking, obviously it is South Conference, no disrespect, but the athleticism, I'd say, is quite big, and also I do think as well the attackers are a lot better than National League in my eyes.
That's a fair point, because I think if you don't even look at our club, if you look at Wrexham start of the season, they came in and I think they was giving up chances and conceding lots of goals, whereas probably in the National League last season they'd get away with that. They'd probably concede 5 good chances, you might concede 1 goal, whereas opening down the season they conceded 5 good chances to MK Dons and conceded 5 goals. And I think they've had to learn as well, and that's a team that's owned by like Hollywood superstars.
Yeah,
so I guess that type of thing does tie in with it. In terms of this season, I think it's probably fair to say that opening day you probably wasn't expecting to start, and then I think Timmy picked up an injury before we went to Stockport. So you partnered Sean in the middle of the park, and we won 1-0. You featured, I think, I worked it out, 89% of our games this season. I think you missed 4. Obviously there was the suspension. Wasn't a red card.
I agree.
You can't say that because you're in trouble with the FA, but I can say it. And then I think you missed. Did you miss 1 game injured? Did you miss any after you come off against Charlton, or was it you just missed the Charlton game and you was all right?
It was just the Charlton game, and then Barrow was postponed, wasn't it? So
you've only missed 3 or 4 fixtures that we've actually played, so which is really good. Again, is that something that you was expecting back in pre-season, or was it a case of just biding your time and then taking your chance, and that chance came along a lot sooner than you probably envisaged?
Exactly what you just said. I didn't expect to start the first couple of games or whatever. Expected to wait for an opportunity again, and but that's football, isn't it? And an injury came along, and I started that game and did well, and we won the game. And especially that first bit of the season for us as a team, we were flying. We were winning every game.
Yeah, I suppose as a defender and a defensive-minded midfielder, or if you're not conceding goals, then people are going to go up. They're doing their job right, aren't they?
Exactly that. So
I guess the calibre of players that you're competing with as well says that you must be doing something right, because it's not like we've not got many options in there. But we've still got Sean Williams. We've not seen Sean for ages.
I know.
Dom, Lapo, Johnny Williams. There's plenty of Timmy when he's fit. There's plenty of options that can play that role. I think it's sort of testament to you and your character and your work rate and that type of thing. And again, I'll go back to social media because you're not on there. I think if you ask 10 Gills fans at the moment, 9 say Ethan Coleman's player of the season so far, which is
I really
fair play to you.
I really that's a massive thing for me. Like, as much as I'm not really on social media, like, the Gills fans have been brilliant to me since I've come in, and I love them. So I
think as a fan base, we always say if we get a player, and we know where we are in the food chain, so to speak, so we're not always going to have the best players. We're not going to be able to sign the most expensive players, but I think Gills fans historically know that if you get a player that comes in and runs through brick doors and works hard every week, then you'll get backed all the time. And I think that's definitely been the case with yourself. I want to talk about this season. You mentioned Neil. Neil got sacked, Stephen come in. There was a month of an interim period, which I'm hoping doesn't end up costing us in terms of the playoffs, but only time will tell. We all know these issues in terms of scoring. We're still the lowest scorers in the division, which is massively frustrating for the ability and the players, the names, in terms of what they've done in their career at other clubs. But just how confident are you in this group, and how far can we go with this group of players? I know we're sat here with 4 days from the end of a transfer window, so it might change in the next few days, such is the nature of January. But I know Stephen come out after Saturday, and I was very impressed with his post-match interview, and he said, we can't be a nearly team. We have to find a way to get the right side of the line, which we didn't again on Saturday, unfortunately. But just how good is this group? You see them in training every day. I mean, we hear it. We hear what Stephen says, or Robbie, or players when they do press duty and that type of thing, and they talk to Phil and Kent online and all that type of stuff. But no, this group is good enough to get promoted.
100%. I've always said that, and I think you know that in training, you know that in games. I know, like you said, like Gaffer said on the weekend, nearly team, and it is so frustrating as a player. As much I know it's so frustrating for a fan.
Yeah, of course.
It's so frustrating for a player when we know we're good enough. And for example, at the weekend again, we worked them out, and
we did.
And
that's probably what made it more frustrating. I think you almost think if you go there and get bashed 4-0, you go, they were better than us. You can almost hold your hand. But the fact that we outplayed them for 70-80% of the game.
No, I agree, and that's what I mean. We just got to take our chances when they come, and I know it's been said over and over again, and the amount of times I've said that.
It's before you know. This is an issue that's been before Ethan Coleman, before Stephen Clements, even probably before Neil Harris. This I think is something that's been festering since probably when we got relegated out of League One. Unfortunately, like when before Steve Evans was sacked, we were struggling to score goals. It's I'm just getting fed up with saying we're not a million miles away.
I agree with that, but me as a player, playing the games that I played, we're really not, and I have so much belief in the team that we have now that we can go on to get promoted. It's as I said, it's so frustrating to say. But it is true. It is true, and that's what I believe, and that's what I think most of everyone down there believes. I think, for me personally, it will come. I think there's moments as in games as well where we don't get luck our way, and that will come as well. It's a thing that will happen. It will happen. It's hard to say.
And I get you lot are as frustrated as we are. Because obviously I think the frustration more for us fans is because we can't affect it. We have to just sit there and hope that you lot can affect it. Again, Saturday's a prime example. Like we're on top, we have the chance that I can't remember, was it Dom or Scotty headed over. Then there was the one that hit the bar at the end, and then we had the one that Hutton flashed across the goal, and he just needs someone to hit him on the knee and go in, and it's a completely different game. And then there goes and whacks one in the bottom corner from the edge of the box, and then we give away a soft one, and suddenly it looks like it's a comfortable game for MK Dons, but it wasn't. And even after at 2-0, I thought that was better from us, because again, there's this issue with mentality. People ask, because if we concede the first goal, we rarely win. Obviously Accrington and I think Wimbledon last season are the only two recently. But we could have folded Saturday, but we didn't. We went up there and Josh got his goal, and then Macca hit the bar, and that's when you go, that's not our day again. And I suppose that what comes back to what you said about you just need a bit of luck. You need Macca's header to hit the underside of the bar when it drops in, and we get something that we deserve out of the game.
No, exactly.
But you can't keep saying it forever.
I know. And it's even the first two chances we had when Hawk's header in the first half.
Conhoney plays one over, didn't he?
And I think that's where we need to pull away, because when we're getting chances like that given to us for a team that plays out from the back, that's when we need to take a chance, and then we could be 2-0 up and walking.
And we're very good. We've been very, again, on the flip side from being very poor when we concede the first goal, we've been bloody good when we score the first goal generally, which again, you go back to Forest Green last week, and that was massively frustrating again, because we took the lead and we looked like the only side that was going to win the game, and then we give another soft goal away, and it's like, and just want to rip their hair out.
That was the most frustrating one, because we know we're so good at that. We know once we go 1-0 up, once we're in the lead, we know we can
manage games
and see it out. And there is a part of us as well that's now we want to go on and win 2-3-0, and that's the thing that we haven't managed to do. I know.
We don't enjoy the last 20 minutes of games.
I know, I agree, and I would too on the pitch. But I think it will come, and I really do believe that will happen.
Good players at the end, don't we? We've got good players, and I think certainly in the last two games, we're creating so many chances. That's why you just need a 3-0 or a 4-0, I think, and then again, like the Accrington game, now we go, we can come from behind.
I was just about to say that.
So if you go and beat someone 3-0, you go, we can do it. And I think Salford back in November was like Stephen's second or third game. We thought, here we go. And then unfortunately it's not kicked on from there. But it's not just strikers, is it? That's got to be everyone. It's got to be you, including midfield. I know you've had a bit of bad luck. I think you hit the post 3 times this season. You managed to miss an header that was easier to hit the target at the Crewe, but we won't talk about that too much. So that's the final question. Are you ever going to score for us?
It's a good question. I'm a player. I'm a more defensive-minded player, but in my past, I have got goals. I'd say in my past, not so much as a first team player. When I was a young player, I'd score a lot of goals, and they would be from set pieces.
Okay.
But
there you go. He wants to take free kicks and penalties.
But for me as a player, it's more about I'm going to give the boring answer. It's more about locking off.
Oh, totally. No, I'm winding you up.
Yeah,
it's just because you've been so close a few times.
Yeah, I am going to score at some point, and it needs to happen this season.
And I suppose to defend you, if Macca and Ollie and Nico and Nads and all that have got 15 each, you ain't got to worry.
Yeah. So, but you are right about it needs to come from everyone on the pitch.
Absolutely.
It's not just strikers, and we know that as a team. And if we're going to get promoted, which we want to do, then it's got to come from everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've got to get the odd goal here and there, and that's why the little bit of luck that we need when I hit the post down here, and then
someone.
Yeah, and then it was Crew away.
Crew was the game where you missed the header and had the one that hit the post, didn't you?
Yeah. Should have scored 2 that game. But
that's another game we should have been out of sight. Macca missed a good chance we come off the keeper.
Yeah.
Your header. Swinging away, Macca missed a 1-on-1. And I think if you put that away, then we missed a penalty.
Yeah.
And I think as fans we're like, I'm sure they're doing it on purpose. Just trying to put us through the ringer. I know we're wrong. But no, it's like I said, it's a good squad, and the fact that we're still only, I think, 2 points outside the playoffs, considering we're scoring less than a goal a game, I think is testament to the fact that we are still working really hard and we still do believe.
Yeah.
If we can just get it right at the top end of the pitch, it could be a good final 18, 19 games, couldn't it?
100%. And that's what we believe can happen. And just like last year as well, when we went on that massive run of games at the end of the season when we was looking to get out of the relegation battle, and we produced when we brought in all the players in Jan, and that's what we.
I see a similar sort of improvement from where we are now. Lifts us right into it, doesn't it? Lift us into top 3, dare I say, if we can have that sort of improvement. Because it's 7 places we jumped from January to the end of last season. We do the same now. We're going to be right in the mix.
Exactly.
But it's. Obviously, Brad has a say in that as well, and who else we can get in the next 4 days. Ethan, it's been a real pleasure, mate. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that a lot.
Gills fans, if you're still watching at this point, thank you very much. Again, big thanks to Ethan taking time out of his day to come and chat to us. We are now less than 80 away from 3,000 subscribers, so please keep hitting that button. I keep promising, if we get there, I will do a giveaway. But until then, I hope you have a good week. We will return on Wednesday for a match preview, looking ahead to Walsall at the weekend, and of course, we'll be back inside the Priestfield Stadium next week for another Match Day Live. But until then, up the Gills.